Last time on Square Roots, it's fun in the sun time when Teddy helps Kanji avoid tan lines, the gang checks into a love hotel, and everybody gets high on that juice. Later, Hat Boy with the hat tries to catch that killer and is rewarded for his bravery with just a whole bunch of misgendering. Yay.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Heyo!
John Group Date Cafe Brandon.
Welcome to my group date cafe. Which one of us do you want to date, Jim?
And Vanessa.
Give me your hearts!
This is a I didn't expect you to say that. And this is a podcast where we play and talk about our favorite classic RPGs.
Hey everybody, this is one CW-filled episode. Content warnings out the wazoo.
If you can think of it, they touch on it.
This is the episode I wish I missed.
This episode is hot garbage.
I mean, I don't know if the episode is hot garbage.
Okay,
This
Content
was the
of the game is hot garbage.
yeah.
The episode is good.
This was the episode that Chungus was trying to get me to avoid when she spilled that orange juice all over my laptop.
Poor Chungus.
So I think we have an announcement up top, don't we?
Sure.
We do.
What is it?
Wow.
Wait.
Patron alert. We've got a new vote up on the Patreon page. So if you're a listener who does not check their email or get updates for some reason, who's a patron, you should go vote if you're in that tier, the vote tier. And it's a vote on what game we're going to play after Persona 4. What are their options? Jim! There's 4 options. Why don't you tell us what you chose?
Fable 2.
That's not what you chose. You're a liar.
I chose Kingdom Hearts 2.
Kingdom Farts 2.
Mm-hmm. What did you choose, John?
I chose Mario and Luigi in Bowser's Inside Story.
Mm-hmm.
The
There was
classic
a lot of arguments over whether or not
RPG.
that counts as a sequel to Super Mario RPG. Obviously, Vanessa and Jim and I all correctly believe it does not, but John gets his way, so I guess that's just...
It's an RPG. What are you talking about?
No, it wasn't. No. The argument isn't whether or not it's an RPG.
Oh.
Is it a sequel?
Whether or not it's a sequel.
Yeah, but and
Super
Jim's the one
Mario
who
RPG.
talked me into it. Jim's like,
I did.
No,
I'm the one who
Jim was
said
adamant.
every subsequent Mario game after the first is just a sequel to the first.
it's true.
Can't wait to get to the next year of sequels that we do when we can play Mario Tennis Aces.
Oh.
What about Vanessa? What was Vanessa's choice?
I, of course, chose Fallout 3 because I love a Western RPG.
But why not a Fallout New Vegas?
Because canonically, 3 was released earlier, and New Vegas uses the same engine that Fallout 3 does. It just came
What
a little
about-
bit after.
What? Yeah.
What about Fallout 2?
I
Yeah,
know-
I don't want to play Fallout 2. I want to play Fallout 3.
Well, I chose Fable 2. You know I want to do more fart butt talk. That was so fun. Didn't we have a good time last time when we played Fable? Patrons, you know the right thing to do. Go vote. It ends on August the 4th. That gives you probably about a week. I think it gives you a week from the day this episode is released. So hopefully, I mean, if you're a patron, you're definitely like a week 1 listener, right? Right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So you've got 1 week to get that vote in. That's our big announcement. Make your pick, Fable 2. And that's it. How about we talk about how we leveled up? John.
I have been watching a TV show. It is called Upload. It is not very good.
Why are you watching it then?
I don't know.
I enjoyed it.
I wanted to give it a few episodes. It's got like the blandest main character, and I understand he's supposed to suck in a like an Ebenezer Scrooge kind of way of he learns from his mistakes of being like. Except Ebenezer Scrooge was a a weak old man, and this is like the guy who looks like a villain from a ski movie. He's like tall and handsome.
Robbie Amell, Stephen Amell's brother. He played Firestorm on his brother's show. His brother played the Green Arrow.
Ah.
Oh no, maybe he played Firestorm in The Flash. I don't know. I can't keep up with that stuff.
But he is a very boring actor and a charisma suck. And the show really gets off on the wrong foot with like making you try to sympathize with him. And then like they add more characters that are worse somehow. I don't understand the show. It's trying to do kind of a combination. It's Greg Daniels who did like showrunner for King of the Hill and The Simpsons and
No, Greg Daniels was the showrunner for The Good Place, right? And
no, that's
And The Office.
no, he wasn't
No,
Good Place.
the guy who played Mose did The Good Place, right?
It's that guy who it's Mike Mike something.
Mike
Schur. But Mike
Yeah.
Schur and Greg Daniels did The Office and Parks and Recreation. But so it's
that's the guy.
But this
he
is
was
much more
Simpsons
of like
again,
a sci-fi losty show with a little bit of that kind of humor thrown in. It's a strange balance, and I really find that part interesting. But just the casting is the worst, and a lot of the jokes are just bad.
and
it's weird 'cause
I thought there were some good jokes in there.
There are some, but I think that like Greg Daniels, I think has an amazing track record of great shows, but this one's just oof. Why would you pick that main character? And like the ladies love him, including like the really good female characters. Like, oh, like right away for this piece of garbage. Ugh.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's
I don't know. Vanessa, what do you think? Robbie Amell?
I haven't seen it.
Oh.
Other than that, I have been playing some other games. Dirt 4, which no one cares about. And
I don't even know what that is.
I also played. I was like, I told Matt about this. I was feeling like playing something different, so I was like, I'll give Breath of the Wild another chance. So I load up my save, and I was like, well, you know what? There's this whole other area. I haven't even started there. Let's go there. So I fast traveled over to another chunk of the map, and then glided down and just landed in this beautiful verdant field with the wind blowing and flowers everywhere, and it was getting to sunset, so you had the sun just low on the horizon. And then I got killed by a laser monster, and I tried it again and got killed by a laser monster again. And then I was like, fuck this game is garbage and I hate it. And that is my Breath of the Wild review. I hate that game. I will, if we ever have to play it for the show, I will play it. But right now, and I'm sure once I get good at it, I will like it, but it has such a steep learning curve for me that I think it's going to be a hard one for me to ever get into. And Vanessa, how do you level up?
I have been watching a Netflix series called Babysitter's Club. Y'all,
Called what?
it's called The Babysitter's Club.
Oh, baby.
It's based on a bunch of books that were very popular when I was a youth. I read them, but I wasn't super into them because they didn't have any swords or dragons or magic. So I thought it was a pretty dumb book. Nevertheless, when there's such a cultural phenomenon that your school library has a whole rack dedicated to Babysitter's Club books that all the cool girls run to, the minute it's time to pick out your book to read for that week, you gotta read some Babysitter's Club. So I went into the show because I heard it was very good, thinking, probably not going to care that much about it. I don't like the Babysitter's Club. I remember the characters, but so what? I watched the whole thing in one night, and it did make me cry. I don't know if it is nostalgia or quality of the show or both, but I really, really liked it. They cast age-appropriate girls to play these characters, and it's very unusual, I think, to see a show that focuses so much on middle school age girls and their problems and what their lives are like. And I think it's great. I highly recommend it to everyone. And even in doing so, I can feel the resistance coming from all you men out there. That's right. Men who say, that's not for me. I'm not going to watch some girl show about girls. Well, you know what? You should, because women have to choke down all of the content made for you day after day, year after year, all the time in my life. There's nothing just for men. Men is for everyone, but girls is just for girls. No. Watch the Babysitter's Club.
Vanessa, I have 2
What?
questions.
Yeah.
Question number 1. Could I watch She-Ra, the new She-Ra instead?
You may watch the new She-Ra in addition to.
Oh,
Damn it.
boy. It's a lot of homework. Is Babysitter's Club a children's television?
I think it would be great to watch with your child. Yes.
That's not the question.
I think that. I will
Are
say
you
that
trying to convince 3 adult men to watch children's television?
everyone that I know of who has watched and loved it have been adult women. Granted, I do not know very many children. So they may be watching and enjoying it as well. I think that the sort of target audience for the books were girls who were a little bit younger than the main characters. So like 5th, 6th grade, maybe 4th grade. If you have a young lady in your life around that age, I am sure that they will love it, or probably they'll hate it because they'll be like me when I was a kid and I didn't want to play with stuff that was for girls because I bought into the bullshit.
Vanessa, I have a second set of questions here.
Yeah.
How many babysitters are there in the main club?
There are 5 main members. It starts out with 4. The 5th is introduced very quickly. And then there are, of course, the 2 junior alternate members.
Who, if you had to assign each of us a different babysitter, who is the most like each host?
Okay, so Matt is obviously a Marianne. He is quiet and reserved. He loves to read books.
Oh, he does.
And he is... he, just kind of shy, but I think this show has really helped him find his own voice, and that's been his personal journey. Jim is a Dawn because he's just like a California cool guy lying on the beach with his blonde tips, eating avocado, and always talking about saving the whales and things like that. John naturally is a Stacy. Grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth.
Dare you, Stacy?
Very much
Come on.
the yacht club scene, but has a dark secret, which is addressed in episode 3 of the Netflix series, The Truth About Stacy. So I will not give it away here. And I am naturally the Claudia Kishi, the cool artsy one who everyone wants to be.
How dare
Obviously.
you?
But yeah, to my surprise, I highly recommend it. It is as good as everyone was saying it would be. It's very short, easy to watch. The episodes are less than half an hour long, so there's really no excuse. And to all you kanjis out there, if you were real, man, you would do it. So that's all I have to say about that. Jim, how did you level up?
I don't think I've talked about this on the podcast before. I've been reading some books. I read the book Lovecraft Country, which is soon to be a TV show on HBO.
You definitely talked about that book before.
Yeah, I think I was reading it. I finished it. It's great. It's like a series of little vignettes that all tie together that are all related to the same family. And there's some Lovecraftian horror, which is great. And then I started reading a book. Oh man, hold on. I gotta find who wrote it. Who wrote World War Z?
Max Brooks wrote World War Z.
Brooks,
Son of Mel Brooks.
Hold on, I gotta find it. It's called Devolution by Max Brooks.
Is that his new one? I meant to get that. It looked really good.
I started reading that. It's about like it takes place in Washington, and there's like a volcanic eruption. that threatens. There's like this green living commune of like tech yuppies that are staying in the woods of the Pacific Northwest, and there's a volcanic eruption and they get isolated and stranded, and what do you know, there's some Bigfoots, and the Bigfoots threaten their little town, and
Yeah,
that's
that
where
looked
I'm at
great.
with it.
As
I
someone
really need
who
to
grew up in the
get that.
Pacific Northwest, that's very accurate.
Bigfoot's attacking on the reg? That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Is the book called Devolution like just the word devolution, or is it called Devil-Lution?
Devolution.
Okay. I couldn't tell if
Just
that
a-
was your
just a
accent
regular.
or a...
Honestly, I didn't know
Title.
how to pronounce the word.
Well, I probably don't either. Listeners, if you know how to pronounce devolution, write in and tell us. squarerootspod@gmail.com. Wait, that's not actually the email, is it? It's squarerootspodcast@gmail.com.
SquareRootsPodcast@gmail.com.
I don't
but I will
know
say I
who
like
has
it so
the
far.
squarerootspod@gmail.com address, but they've probably gotten
Sorry
a lot
about
of
that.
confusing emails.
Probably
Yeah.
nobody.
Maybe
That
we
probably
should
does
snatch
not
that up.
exist.
But the book is good. It's written like World War Z, where it's like snippets of there's like snippets of interviews with park rangers and like fake excerpts from like Forbes articles and autobiographies and stuff. That's all kind of compiled into a narrative. It's really good. I'll reserve final judgment on it until I finish it, but it's pretty good so far.
Nice.
Let's see. I think it's time to flip on to Midnight Channel.
Yeah, right after Matt levels up.
Oh, I thought you already did.
Nope.
Level up, Matt.
Matt time, level up, Matt. I've been playing PUBG a lot. Everybody knows that. It's my favorite game, I guess, somehow. I downloaded the PUBG public test server so that I could play the remastered Sandhawk map before it hits the main game within an update next, I believe, Tuesday. And I give it 2 thumbs up. What do y'all know about Sandhawk? You excited about it?
I know nothing about
am.
it.
Vanessa
What about
likes
the
to
rest of
heckle
y'all?
me while I'm playing, and in fact, that was the map, Vanessa. Except the old version was the one where I found a little sniper nest, but then someone nastily snuck up behind me and shot me. Remember that one?
Nastily.
Yes, I do remember. It was very rude. You were having a nice time in your nest.
Exactly.
You weren't trying to shoot at anyone. You were
Nope.
doing a great job hiding, except for when you accidentally discharged your weapon
Yes.
into the wall, which
I
I
was just
believe
looking
may have
around.
attracted the guy who killed you.
Yep.
So, yeah. The new Sandhawk has been rearranged a bit. They've gotten rid of a little tree farm in the northeast corner and replaced it with an airfield. So there's a couple of gliders. They only spawn there. There's only
Cool.
2. So you can go there with some gas and fly some gliders around, which I did a little bit of today. Flying gliders around is always fun because then your partner shoots people, or you get to shoot people while somebody else drives from the back of the glider. Nobody ever expects a bullet from above. It's pretty great. What else have they added? There's a lot of neat stuff. They rearranged a lot of the locations. They put a place called Party Zone in and replaced like some docks or something. And there's a place called the Black Cat Club in there that is a giant strip club. You like open the door and you go and it's all windowless, so it's all neon lights and stuff. And there's a bar. And it's like stepping into another world. It's pretty fun. They like redid some of the ruins and caves and stuff to have like, I don't know, better looking stuff and more vertical design. Which is pretty cool. Gasoline now, you can like pour it out and create like gas traps. You shoot the gas and it lights up. So that is game wide. That's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of like neat little updates to it. I've been playing it a lot. It's a lot of fun. I told John and Jim to download the test server and play with me, and they refused. But that's all right. I'll just
Hey,
keep
I
playing
downloaded
One Man
it.
Squad.
It just wasn't ready last night.
Mhm.
And Matt, I've tried playing PUBG with you, but just the setup I have right now just doesn't
Mhm.
work. When I get the Xbox Series X next fall, I will give it a shot.
The one thing that
thingies.
really bothered me about playing with John is that he never put shoes on his character, and it's just it makes me feel weird seeing him run around barefoot.
But there's no.
Really, a lot of people play. I play barefoot a lot because it makes your feet like doesn't really.
It
but
does.
It kind of makes your feet a little quiet.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, it makes sense. It's realistic. Like if you're walking on with boots on hardwood, it's thunk thunk.
It's
thunk.
realistic.
Well, except that you should also take
It's
damage for walking on
realistic.
glass and rocks and
Well,
stuff.
there's never any glass, but yeah. I mean, listen, there's a lot of stuff that they've missed, but yeah, Jim, that's the base. That is the like thesis of PUBG is that it's trying to be like a realistic like military sim. That's why you like have to do. That's why there's so many goddamn controls, and you have to gas up your fucking car, your thing before you can drive it, and shit like that. It tries to be less of like, and that's what I like about it. I like that it's not trying to be like a slick shooter with like powers or like extra bullshit. Just give me like guns. Let me run around. I have a soft spot. I like PUBG a lot because it's that like half broken that a lot of like PC games that I played in the 90s were, where it's like you might fall through the world. You never really know.
It's super janky. That game's janky as hell.
It's janky, but sometimes the jank's fun. And also the driving is super good. Like I could drive a motorcycle around Erangel for days and just jump on shit. Anyway, that's how I leveled up. PUBG. Come play PUBG with John. Not me. I don't want to play with you.
You can play with me on PC. I just can't. Right now, I don't have the setup to play it well on Xbox. It disconnects and crashes all the time.
I mean, I really went in hard after that during the end of the last season that ended last week, and I was really like pumping out games to try and like legitimately to get, skins for stuff, like cosmetics. That's how hooked I am. But I did get the baby bear helmet, and it was very important to me that I get the baby bear helmet. So that's how I leveled up. When is Vanessa going to get an Xbox and play PUBG with us?
Never.
I think that I always thought that Vanessa would kind of like it because you have to be sneaky, and Vanessa loves to be sneaky.
I do love to be sneaky, and I think I would very much like the part where you sneak around and go in houses and sneak stuff. I don't think I would like the part where people shoot me.
Yeah.
Vanessa-
Nobody likes that part because that's when you die.
Can I send
Yeah.
you a PC code for it?
Okay.
Okay.
Will
I'll
it
do
run on
that.
my poor little PC?
Yeah, your lappy will be good enough for it.
Okay.
I don't think it's a super intensive game.
No.
Oh yeah, your laptop would definitely. It's hers is anyway. Just try it out. You might like the solo more than like the duos or the squads because the solo really is like a real sneaky.
No,
kind
I
of
want to
game,
stream with
whereas
her
the
though.
Yeah,
duos
I'll
and
do
squads is more of I'm on a hunt to shoot some people and get in some trouble because
I'll
you're hanging
do
out with
it
your
for
friends.
the
So you're like,
Twitch.
let's go get busy.
Let's
all
go get
right,
busy.
well, let's get busy by turning this TV on and watching the Midnight Channel. Ba-da-na-na-na-na. Ba-da-na-na-na-na. Ba-da-na-na-na-na.
Wow, we did that.
Boy, I got that Persona music stuck in my head. I've been playing so much.
I always like making up new lyrics to the songs. Like that there's some really good lines in that Heaven song about like have you heard my cheese or something.
That
like I should listen to it.
song rules.
I feel like I should play it with headphones on more often because I can barely hear the songs. Just the melody is all I'm hearing.
So these are
Matt. Sorry, John.
Vanessa?
Since
Vanessa?
you weren't here last time, can we get your quick 3-sentence reaction to what happened last time in the game?
What did I miss out on that
You missed
talked about?
out
It's
on
just-
the beach trip.
No. I talked about the beach trip. Right?
I think so.
Yeah,
I
I
think you
left-
left before the Naoto stuff.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So did we not get to any of the Nato stuff? Do we know that Nato's we know that
Naoto.
I don't know how to phrase it. Somebody phrase it for
Assigned
me.
female at birth.
Yeah.
Did we know that? Do we know that? All right. So, certainly, much like with the kanji stuff and the Yosuke stuff, it's really frustrating to see what like could be a really positive game in a lot of aspects, where you kind of would be, where if they didn't have to treat everything like it was so goddamn, quote unquote weird, this could be an amazing game. But instead, anybody that comes out as anything other than as straight is kind of shamed into being.
I think the most egregious thing is the characters they want to be, it's like they want to be straight, so it'll make them feel better.
Yeah. I also like it's, I giving this game, up until this chunker, I would give the game more benefit of the doubt than I do now. After this chunker's really bad. Like, especially if you are trans or queer in any way, this part is going to suck playing through.
It's like the Teddy stuff. Like it's up to a point it's funny, and then he's like hitting on the little girl, and you're like, okay, like I don't like this. Teddy is a creep.
Yeah.
And Naoto is not treated very well here.
Nope.
But I like Naoto the character, and I really liked the secret laboratory dungeon. That was super hella fun. I don't really remember the boss.
Boss was Naoto with like a jetpack and laser guns.
Oh yeah. And now we have Naoto in our party, and Naoto's great.
He's best character.
Yeah, Naoto's really good.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of things in this game are in spite of this, especially this chunker. Like that, the fact that people really like it. I know a lot of trans people and queer people that really love this game in spite of what happens in this chunker. And so it's one of those things where you just we'll talk about it, It's
just frustrating to play. It's frustrating to see it because you can see how this could all be so like well handled easily,
Yep.
And how much it would improve the game, and instead you just kind of have to cringe your way through, a script that is trying to paint like homosexuality and trans identities as like just somebody being confused and really needing to get in touch with their real selves.
Which is sort of what the quote-unquote like progressive mainstream in the 50s in this country was doing.
And the 80s and 90s.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's, started in the 50s from like, oh, it's just deviancy to, oh, they're confused, and need to be treated, which was considered progress at the time.
As someone who went to without being told, was sent to a therapist, and then when it got there, I saw there's just Christian stuff all over the walls, and I was by myself, and I was like, oh no. I realized what I had been sent to. But fortunately, I was an adult, and I said, sorry, I'm not going to do this.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. Whew, it's a good thing I was 18. Like, I just turned 18, too.
That is a very good thing, because I don't like to think of people damaging my good friend Johnny.
So, that we pick up where we left off. Naoto is back at school, but doesn't really want to do exams because he wants to focus on what's been going on. And yeah, like to Matt's point earlier, we are going to keep saying, at least Vanessa and I will keep going with male gendering because Naoto says, hey, I'm just going to keep being a dude. It's what I'm comfortable doing right now. And
they mix up the pronouns. I feel like in the game, there's certain characters who will refer to her different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the new Chie voice actress continues to gender Naoto as male.
Yeah,
which I assume
like, everyone says Naoto-kun.
Oh,
like,
do they?
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah. So I'm going to go with continue with male.
Male female thing. I didn't realize.
Yeah,
that.
Chan would be for the female. So that's like
female. Yeah.
Oh.
So it's so we're just gonna stick with that because like, and part of it is a headcanon thing of I prefer this being a trans narrative, even if the game specifically says, "Oh, I was just confused." It's like, yeah, but one's a better plot line.
Yeah. But please forgive us in advance if we slip up. We will try to do our best, but the game,
it's going to make it real
around
hard
with pronoun, and it makes it really
does,
hard.
Because now in my head, I'm so used to hearing she that it's I'm gonna say it wrong several times.
Yeah.
Perhaps we can consider Naoto to be genderqueer, and then it's okay.
Yep. So when you get back to school, Yosuke has immediately urgent business for you on the roof. And you think, oh, is there a break in the case? Do we have a lead? You get up there to the roof. And I'm going to try and zoom through this because this is the longest notes we've had for this game.
Did we want to do social link first, though?
Oh, right. Damn it. Yes. Okay.
Well, I mean, we've already started, so why don't we do it at the end?
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
We'll do it.
Sorry about that.
It happens.
But I'll try to zoom through this just because these are real long notes. Okay, so the urgent business he has is, can you keep the weekend open? Because the idol Kanami Mashida had been hired to do a big event for some reason at the police station.
Yeah, that was weird.
And Juness, in conjunction with this, was going to have a big sale to take advantage of it, but it has been canceled. Yosuke is worried that because of this event being canceled, it could get his dad fired. And Naoto's like, well, this is my fault because the reason it was canceled was the police were working on finding out what happened to me after I got kidnapped. So Yosuke says, hey, Rise, do you mind substituting for Kanami since she is no longer doing it? And Rise says she will do it, but only handshakes and signing, and only if everyone else joins in. And I got like real excited for Terrible Persona Partridge Family. This was a great moment. So you cut to the music room. Well, before you get to the music room, everyone's like, well, Naoto's like, I can kind of play the keyboard. And Yosuke's like, well, I do have a guitar and a bass, which he bought because he thought it was a guitar. And
Yeah.
Well, he's like, I have a guitar and I accidentally bought a bass. And they're like, how do you accidentally buy a bass? And she's like, I bet you thought it was another guitar because you're an idiot.
Yukiko has some kind of musical instrument at the hotel.
Like a traditional gong.
Yeah, I think
she
that
Yeah.
she doesn't remember exactly what it is. And Kanji will figure out something, which they'll get to in a second. And Teddy will handle percussion. So you get to the music class. Teddy gives Yosuke some maracas, which is great because they look like his weapons. They even make him do the persona summoning animation.
That's pretty funny.
Teddy will handle tambourine and other handheld percussion. Chie has a trumpet to play now, which she cannot play, and Yukiko also cannot make the saxophone make any noise, and none of them know how to read music.
Yeah, but it's going to be great. They have 1 week to put together their band.
So they do a run through of the song all together, and it is great. I kind of wish this is how it ended up, that they were that bad, because it's realistic as to what happens if you put...
It would have been pretty amazing.
They had, 3 days notice to learn?
And they're just blowing air through the brass instruments. Like...
But they do practice for a couple of days and suddenly can play. Then they get together at Juness. As they are practicing, you'll notice a weird guy in the background in a green uniform. And
if you're very sharp-eyed, you might think that he resembles a guy who was in the background of the ramen shop last time we played.
Oh.
Interesting.
I
didn't notice.
At the concert, they are all super nervous, but I said that I wasn't, and Teddy says, "Oh, you've got big brass balls." And then they do that hands in the center of a circle thing, like the team building thing. What is that called?
Hands in
I
the
don't
center
know.
of a circle team building thing.
I don't think there's a name for it, and there
It's like
should be.
It's like all in.
Yeah, hands in.
Hands in, yeah.
Okay. Then you have...
On 3. 1, 2, square roots rules!
Square roots rules!
Defense.
Then we get this, an anime concert cutscene.
It's
Woo!
beautiful.
How does this compare? We just had a concert cutscene of 1,000 words. How does this, or even what can I do for you there?
What can I do for you?
What do you think is better? This song, 1,000 words, or what can I do for you?
I can't hear
Definitely 1,000 words. That song bops. I would listen to it unironically. But this song, I can't even remember how it goes. It's so generic.
What can I
Dreams,
do for you is
fun,
maybe the best song we've ever heard on this
friendship
program.
to get best like lyrical song.
I mean, just best piece of music. What can I do for you?
1,000 words.
1,000 words.
Final Fantasy VI opera scene. Get bent.
Oh!
1,000 words is better than both of those.
What can I do for you?
I don't exactly
Am
remember
I singing 1,000 words right now?
No, that's the other one. They're both from the same
Clearly not
game.
better.
Yeah. So, concert anime cutscene, it was very generic, but I loved I thought the anime cutscene was great. I loved it.
Mm-hmm. I liked that the brass part ends up just being like 4 notes, like toot, 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 toot. So that does make sense then.
Okay.
That they could have learned that
Yeah.
in that length of time.
Kanji's drums are also fucking terrible. Like, it's a bad drum track.
But I guess that's good. Like, that makes it more Partridge Family-y. Or Brady Bunch when they all became a band because they had to compete with the Partridge Family for ratings.
Yeah, they had to get those records out.
Yeah.
I expect a caliber of musician that Reset associates with to be higher.
If it's time to change, then got to
I was thinking about it,
rearrange.
and I think that the level of fame that Rosette has that makes sense to me is that she is like she's like a local cheerleader for like a local sports team. Like, some people know who she is, and she does events in the area.
I was gonna say, like, maybe she was in some Disney Channel.
Yeah,
original
she's
movies.
Canadian famous. We've already established
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
Like a regional celebrity.
yeah. She filmed some Lifetime movies in Toronto.
Exactly. So then after the concert, everyone's demanding an encore. The problem is they only know one song.
Mm-hmm. They're like,
And-
we could play it again.
Yosuke does note that green uniform guy is there again.
Mhm.
And then first Teddy crowd surfs, and it's amazing because he bounces like a bouncy ball with like a lovely boop, boop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's his like, I'm going to get out of this situation where I have to play an encore.
That's hilarious.
And so then Yosuke, you, and Kanji all try crowd surfing at the same time. You land like a pro, but the other two go face first.
Yeah, because the crowd just gets out of the way.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And next up, midterms.
Oh, no.
It's midterms, everyone.
Whoa.
Chie needs help studying, so everyone comes to Junes to study. But they don't really study. They sort of talk about themselves. Teddy's like, I don't know who I am. Well, first Nanako's like, Teddy doesn't know who he is, and that's funny. And Teddy's like, yeah, I don't know who I am. I think he's been thinking about it. And he thinks, like, I was born from the mind, or the shadow world was born from the minds of people on the real side, but that he must be some kind of special being. They all say this in front of Nanako. And Nanako's like, but she does say, well, if Teddy's special, then he must be a king. And I agreed. I was like, yeah, Teddy, you are a king. A problematic king.
I have a fan theory about Teddy.
Ooh.
Ooh, what is it?
My fan theory about Teddy is that Teddy is Yu's shadow self. 'Cause everyone, when they go into the
Oh.
TV world, they meet their shadow selves. Very first thing, except for you, who never does, but maybe he does, and maybe it's Teddy.
And is
But
that why
you-
his shadow
Ooh.
self was so terrifying? Because it was like the shadow of a shadow?
Yeah.
I don't. I
Oh, that'd
I
work.
wish that were the case. But they always just write the protagonist in these games as this person does not have any weaknesses,
Yeah.
and he's the coolest kid and the best at everything ever.
But he's also the fool card, which is like, 0, empty, just like Teddy.
You know,
Ooh.
now that I'm thinking about what you're saying there, Jim, Disco Elysium really is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
You are the biggest piece of garbage who did terrible
Yeah.
things.
You're
Oh,
the
man, I
worst
forgot about
person
that
in the
game.
world.
I need to play it.
And
Well-
Yeah, I
maybe you
forgot that we
can
were playing it.
slightly redeem yourself.
It's 20 hours long, and we're recording on Sunday. So,
We're recording it this
yeah,
Sunday.
it's the end of the month, buddy.
Holy heck! I
How?
better get on that.
Buddy.
It's so good.
I'm almost
though.
afraid to, because that's a game I was playing when my laptop got orange juice spilled on it. So I'm scared.
Oh.
PTSD.
Wow, thanks, Big Chungus. You're like, oh, Big Chungus. Oops. And he like pushes Big Chungus into the orange juice.
Oh, Chungus, what did you do? Guess I can't
no.
play. Uh-oh.
That's a lot of reading. Politics.
I'd say that if you play a little and then read like a summary of the game, you'll sort of get it. Although it's more about the experience than the actual story.
It is.
Yeah, I what I have played of it, I have found to be incredibly boring. So I'm kind of also struggling in that regard, which is a bummer because I think I'm the one that brought this game to the group in the first place and was like really excited for it. But it turns out that when it comes to the actual gameplay,
Yeah, it's weird
snore
that
down.
somehow Vanessa and I are the only ones who like these slow-paced, talky adventure games.
Yeah.
Weird.
Bizarre. If only that we could get to the root of our love of these games.
Yep. Then Chie comes up with a theory the next day. She says that because all of the enemies you're seeing, all the shadows, look like toys and like gods and stuff out of anime and TV and comic books, she's like, maybe it's because we watch so much TV. This is like what our subconscious is, and that's what is populating the shadow world. That's why like you're fighting like big Gundams and stuff and weird, monsters and stuff from fantasy shows. I love that explanation for the weird enemy design too.
Mm-hmm.
It does make a lot of sense. Like there's wrestlers, there's cops, there's floating castles.
Yeah.
Exam time. How'd you do on your exam?
I was 100%, sir. I did not miss a single question. I did not cheat or look up anything. I was so proud of myself. Legitimately.
You were. He sent messages into the group chat that was like, I just aced my midterms. I didn't even cheat.
This is how fucking sad life has become.
I cheated the first time I got those questions before the midterms. But yeah, I got number 1 in the class.
I was surprised how many of these questions I remembered from my first playthrough of this game like 3 years ago.
Well, you also get like they're rehashes of questions you'd got like a week before in the game.
Yeah. But even still, like on the first go, like I remembered a lot of the questions weirdly.
Oh, okay. Vanessa, how'd you do?
Oh, of course I aced it as well.
All right. Next up, the note. You get a
Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh.
Nanako gets a weird gets you a letter from the mailbox, and it's a weird one addressed to you, and it says to Mr. Whatever your last name is in the game, and it just says with no punctuation or capital lettering or anything, don't rescue anyone. You
Bum, bum, bum.
you don't tell Dojima about it for now. But you do get cut to another anime cutscene of an adult man hunched over like a notebook, and he's scribbling stuff in there, but it's in Japanese, so I can't read it. And then he's like ripping out pictures of politicians, and he says that he is going to rescue them all and take them somewhere peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember this cutscene, but I like
It's
it.
really short. It's like 20 seconds long. I can send you a link to it if you'd like.
Yeah, it's a blink and you miss it cutscene, but he's like, I'll save you, I couldn't save her, I'll save you.
Mhm. Up on the roof the next day of the school, everyone's like, is this note real? Is it a prank? It seems too specific to be a prank.
Why would they even think? Why would you even entertain the thought that it's a prank? It's very clearly a threat.
Yeah.
But they all agree they can't show it to Dojima because he wouldn't be able to investigate. They'd have to explain everything, and they're worried that Dojima would have him followed or otherwise unable to go into the TV to rescue the next person that gets kidnapped.
Right.
Why does you not at some point grab Dojima in the living room and be like, yo, look at how I can stick my head in this TV?
Yeah.
That's true.
So I gotta tell you, there's some weird shit going on. I can stick my head in this TV, and when I go inside, there's all sorts of shit, and I keep finding people and pulling them out.
Well, there's a section
And I think that he would
coming
probably
up
be like, what?
where you are in a room with a TV and you
I know.
could have proved it that way.
Yeah.
How does that work though? Like, so that you can just go in the afternoon, right? It doesn't have to be rainy. It doesn't have to
Yeah,
be
that's
foggy.
true.
You can literally just,
Yeah.
you can step through televisions. You should be able to. I don't even know why you're locked up here. You'd be like, peace, motherfucker, and just leave through the TV.
Yeah, but if you don't go in through Juness, you'll get lost because
Yeah.
someone to guide you.
Whatever. Do you know how fucking tough I am now? Like, I will destroy any. Like, drop me randomly into Shadowland. I'm not worried about it.
So they
Legitimately,
also
think about it.
wonder, could this murderer be watching them? Because it does seem like since they gave it to Naoto's like, since he gave it to you specifically, they know they know where you live, they know that your dad's a cop, and they assume from this note there's no way that they can trace you, so they think that they're invulnerable. The boy with the hat, Hat Boy, is a boy detectiving the heck out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I like
And
that.
then
I
you're
like it.
just like, oh, I guess.
I like how competent Hat Boy, the boy with the hat, is.
Hat Boy, the boy with
Yeah.
the hat, is a legit kid detective.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kid Detective is like a number one favorite character for sure.
Mhm.
Particularly now that Naoto is in your party, you get to use him, and he's fucking awesome. He's got a gun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's like, in my playthrough, he ended up being like pretty much the most powerful character because he's got so many different magics.
So many.
Yeah.
4. It's at least 4, right?
He's got 5
Wind,
if you
fire.
count Almighty.
Oh,
Wind,
and Almighty.
Fire, Dark, Light, and Almighty. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, and
That Almighty is helpful in every situation.
I
Yeah.
got rid of.
I've only found one monster that resists it.
I got rid of Garrodine just to get the Almighty boost and the Mudo boost, just because it would.
But it's not
I
an
don't
Almighty
use
boost.
the boost very much.
Or
It's not. It
Hammer
does not
boost,
boost
you're
the
right.
Almighty spell, though.
It's
does it?
you're
It
right. It's
should only-
Hammer boost.
Yeah, it's Hammer
Yeah.
boost. I didn't bother with either of those boosts because the only time I use those spells are when they're weak to it, and it seems to 100% get them when they're weak to it. It's never failed.
Yeah,
so.
Mamadoon and Mahama are both amazing spells.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So next up is the Culture Festival. Everyone's excited because it's like the
Woo.
one event that students really like of all the events that the school does. But the class so far has no ideas on what to do for Culture Festival, and they're not very motivated. You can tell this is not the A class. This is not the best class
Yeah.
in the school.
To be fair,
It's got the number one student.
I mean, yeah, that's true. The coolest kid in the world,
Mhm.
but
Test's running.
the group date.
Start with soccer
So,
team.
like, they do suggest group date cafe, which Yosuke throws in there as a joke initially. But when, to me, it made sense why a lot of people voted for it because the other ideas are fucking boring.
Mhm.
Yeah, they have like rest area and
Like study
movie
room.
Yep.
Yeah.
Video room.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so Yosuke's like, Chie can tell Yosuke has an idea, but they don't find out what it is till the next day. And yeah, the 4 suggestions are break area, video room, study room, and group date cafe.
Can the group date Can the group date go in multiple ways, or is it just one?
A little. I think there's some variance in what your responses are. Because I watched.
You can choose to vote. You can vote for whatever you want.
I watched a Let's Play to do my notes, and they showed all the different outcomes. But it's always the group date cafe. That's always going to be the outcome. But within it, there are some different ways that it kind of unfurls based on who you hit on and the questions you ask. The next day, Kanji will not get under an umbrella with you, Yosuke, or Naoto. He just runs off in the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
You're like, share an umbrella, and he's like, no homo, and runs away.
The events are posted, and everyone is really excited because there is going to be a Miss Yasogami High pageant, and it's put together by Mrs. Kashiwagi, and she is also going to be a contestant, which seems
This is fucking
blatantly
insanity.
against the rules. And
Yeah.
so are Yukiko, Chie, Rise, Naoto, and Hanako.
Yes, but unlike Hanako, these ladies did not sign up for it. Ladies and Naoto.
Chie and Kanji want to talk to Yosuke on the roof about something, and then you find out is because Chie is furious for being entered into the pageant. And it seems like you can't back out or face like school punishment. But Yosuke's like, but Teddy told me to do it. That's no excuse.
Yeah. And it's like, even if someone else signs you up, you have to do it. It's real messed up.
That's fucked up.
Yep.
Like when they're forced to that was crazy. to me.
Yosuke is leading the executive committee of the group date cafe. The male, he never gets a name. The male council representative is like, oh, it's just do like a speed dating thing. It'll be pretty easy.
I kept looking for this guy's name, and I was like, who is this kid?
Male committee representative. And Yosuke, instead of helping plan, skips out to play games with his friends. His other friends.
Yosuke has other friends?
Yeah, he's got remember the group of guys that he goes to play ball with outside instead of doing his work that he should be doing?
No.
Okay.
I don't remember that either.
Is it Ko and Daisuke?
No, it's just some other random students.
Oh, wait, yeah, I sort of remember.
They're like, hey, Yosuke, come play ball with us. He's like, this sounds way better than whatever crap we're doing. I'm leaving. And
yeah, and they're like, this was your idea. And he's like, yeah, it was my idea. So I already did my part.
Yep.
What a dick.
So let me just handle we'll talk about this part. There's a second pageant. Here's how the game describes it. We will not be describing it this way. The game describes it as a cross-dressing quotation mark Miss end quotation mark Yasogami High pageant. Let's call it a drag show. That's what it is. It's a drag show. And someone mysteriously has signed up Kanji, Yosuke, and you to do it. The girls are very excited. They're going to give you all makeovers. And you basically have to resign yourself to it. I as always, I'm like, yeah, this sounds awesome. I'm going to have fun. And of course...
Oh, wait. Can we back up real quick?
Oh, yeah.
To when the girls were talking about being pissed off about being in the pageant. Did you guys pick up on, do you remember what like Kanji was saying to Naoto about being in the pageant?
Well, I thought this was at the pageant that he says it.
Because they have kind of this, it's when they're talking about it, he has this awkward exchange with her, and he's like, there's like, the symbols above their heads as they're looking at each other, and he says, he's like, I'm begging you, please be in the pageant. And she goes, why? And he's like, so my doubts will finally be erased. And it's like, that like made me go, oh, fucking gross.
Yeah.
Man. Like, handle your own shit, Kanji. Don't put that on Naoto.
Yeah, Kanji is going to use Naoto being forced into a cis pageant as evidence of his heterosexuality.
Yeah.
Eesh. Eesh.
It's gross.
So the girls are gonna give everyone makeovers. Kanji eventually is like, you know what? If I have to do it, I'll do it well. And that's
I do appreciate that like attitude.
Yeah. And Yosuke eventually gets talked into it too. And honestly, I've always wanted to have a makeover. I've always wanted to have makeup applied. I think it looks relaxing and fun. Vanessa, have you ever had a makeover? Like a real like heavy duty, I guess like prom makeup sort of deal?
Yeah, sure. For like weddings and things like that.
Is it fun?
Yeah, it's nice.
How
you
about
just
people
sit there, you close your eyes, and then you open them, and it's like, ooh, now I'm beautiful.
I always wanted to try that.
Yeah,
anyway.
There's nothing wrong with it, and I think that makeup for men is kind of catching on. Certainly, like here's a hot tip: all those male actors that you see walking the red carpet, and it looks like their skin is like heckin' good. They all are wearing makeup, like no question about it. There's just like a little bit of makeup for dudes that they use. You put it on, smooths out your complexion and everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, men used to wear makeup all the time, like for generations and generations and generations. Mm-hmm. And then Beau Brummel came along and it was like, excuse me, only girls wear makeup. And then all of those guys in their nice powdered wigs and rouged cheeks and things were like, oh shit, no homo. And they stopped. The end. And that's the story of Beau Brummel.
That guy sucks.
He does suck.
Yeah, he does.
So cut to the group date cafe. No one shows up, even though this sounds amazing. Although I wouldn't have gone as a tea to this. No way. So it's just Chie, Yosuke, Yukiko, Kanji, you, and the class representative guy. Who never gets a name. You go on a speed date with the class representative because there's not enough girls, and you get sort of pushed into it, but I'm like, hey, I'll do it. It's no problem.
Yeah, they were like, well, let's like try it so people will see how much fun we're having. But we have an uneven number of girls and guys, so who's going to be the third girl? And I was just like, it's going to be me. I just actually, he doesn't even say anything. He just walks over and sits on the girl's side.
And then you ask questions as if you were a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, out of the three of us here, who would you date? I'm winking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, John's radio wink.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it goes very poorly.
Mm-hmm.
No one is playing along. No one will answer your questions.
Yeah.
This is
They do ask you like which one. Well, at first, Yusuke is like, "Hey, Kanji, you should date him, huh? Isn't he your type?" And Kanji's like, "Oh my god, like, I can't with you. I've asked you so many times to stop."
Well, I did select Kanji as my type. I was like,
Yeah, I did too.
yeah, you gotta. So, cut to Ko is out doing. He's very upset because the other class got to do this cool archaeological dig stuff, and all his class is doing is Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet.
Yeah, they're doing
Yeah, I saw that. That part did make me
an
laugh.
amazing Shakespeare mashup play.
Yeah.
Just the next one. I guess the next one only happens if you've been going out with I. Where did you get this, Matt? With the fortune teller booth?
I got it. I was like ranked
Yeah,
3
I
with
saw
her
it
or
too.
Tell me
something.
more. I don't remember.
There's a booth and there's someone inside, and you hear the voice. It's Igor talking, and he starts like making fun of I, basically, because I's like,
It's funny. I didn't. There's kind of a joke where they walk up to the booth and she's like, it's like long nose fortune telling or something like that, and she's like, that's a weird
Yeah.
name.
and the guy's like,
Oh, hello there. You're an idiot, aren't you, girl?
And then
You're a
she's
real
like,
dummy.
and
screw
I
you.
gets really mad at him. It's a pretty fun scene.
Mhm.
No, he says that she's like overconfident. And then they kind of challenge each other, and she's like, if I win, I'm destroying this booth.
Hey, listen, I'm going to be honest with you guys. A lot of this part of the game I was playing at like 1 o'clock in the morning last night. So it's all a little foozy.
Oh, don't worry. You didn't miss much here.
It's a little half asleep.
The next section I've labeled ugh.
Mm-hmm. It's time
This is the problem.
for the pageants. This is
Vanessa,
the
do you want to
beginning
handle
of the
this,
problem.
or should
I
we?
sure do.
Okay.
So it's time for makeovers for the drag show. And I would say the only redeeming element of this whole segment, surprisingly enough, is Teddy.
Yes, I agree.
Teddy
Mhm.
finds out about the drag show and decides to enter it himself. They're like, you don't even go here. And Teddy's like, Teddy's getting a makeover. Yeah. And now Ted's like, okay, I'll do Teddy's makeup. So time for the boys to come out. At first, the audience is like, who would sign up for this? This is ridiculous. Kanji comes out. He's dressed like Marilyn Monroe, essentially. He has on the famous white dress and platinum wig and
Now,
red
I forget
lipstick.
who was doing Kanji's makeup, but I feel like they did him a disservice.
Probably. And also, Kanji does not change his posture.
Mhm.
So,
No, he's still like cow,
yeah.
like hunching
yeah,
over.
he's sort of hunched and
I-
bow-legged, and he stomps out on stage.
I do like his hair.
Yeah.
His nice bob. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yosuke, I forget what he looks like.
It was a schoolgirl, and they like put a little bow in like
Oh,
his
right.
hair.
But he doesn't have like a wig or anything. He just has a
No,
little
no, because
bow.
he's got fairly long hair as well, so
Mhm.
they just like did a little barrette in there.
Yeah.
They did just one ponytail.
Yeah, that's it.
So he's always got his hair over, and they just took a handful of it,
Mhm.
put it in a ponytail because there's still hair laying down around
Yeah.
it.
I get the
He's just got
feeling.
one wild ponytail hanging out. It's really
I get
funny.
the feeling this is Chie's work.
Yeah, it seems like
yeah,
it.
this does feel like a chie.
And then you come out and you have 2 long sort of Dorothy Gale braids, but they're gray, like your natural hair.
Mhm.
And you're in a more traditional school outfit, and you seem to have a katana as well,
And a very long skirt.
and a very long skirt. And the audience is like, oh, I thought maybe he could pull it off, but he
Yeah.
can't. You suck. Boo."
But then
But then there's, They're like, and our last contestant, and out comes Teddy in a full Alice in Wonderland outfit, long blonde hair, and he skips across the stage with sparkles coming off of him. And the audience is like, who is that? Oh, and then Teddy goes up to the microphone and goes, "Give me your hearts."
Now this does become an outfit that you can later play as in combat, and if Teddy wins the fight, Teddy will also shout, "Give me your hearts."
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I think that in the Persona Arena game as well, you can also play as Teddy in his Alice outfit.
Now, the crowd,
That's fun.
the jeering that the crowd does is so bad that it gives you flashbacks to like 90s just super homophobic stuff you'd hear, and super anti-trans, and it was like, oh, that's disgusting. Imagine seeing someone like that on a train. Ugh.
Oh, yeah. They say that about Kanji, like, oh, he's sitting across from you. Ugh.
I just remember
it's
that
pretty awful.
always being like the go-to straight man reaction in the 90s to like the idea either of trans or drag, of like, can you imagine running into someone like that in public?
Yeah,
Dude.
it's the Ace Ventura reaction.
It's really awful. It is like, let me emphasize that this part of the game makes me dislike the game. Like,
Yeah.
it's a
There's
lot
no
to come
excuse
back
for it.
from here.
I think what like makes it even worse is that you could exercise all of this from the game, and not only would the game be better, but two, like, you wouldn't even notice.
No, yeah.
There's no plot
this is not
relevance.
plot or
Yeah.
character integral at all.
Yeah.
And the only good thing about the other pageant is two of the two willing contestants, Mrs. Kasuwagi and Hanako, are there, and you learn that they're best friends.
Yeah, and they are delighted to be doing this, which is great.
I love those two and wish them, like, if the game had been about them and, like, not teasing, but at least, like, having fun with it in a not mean way, I would have liked it. But
I would like the teacher better if she wasn't always talking about how, like, her students should want to fuck her.
Yeah, and putting Rise down. You don't need to put other
yeah.
women down to bring yourself up, lady.
Yeah.
But we should also, so who wins the drag competition?
Teddy wins, I think, by unanimous vote. And one of his prizes is to judge the Miss pageant. And he...
When Teddy wins, he does this, like, elbow pumps, like, yeah.
Yeah, he does like a dance. He's so
It's
excited.
amazing.
And then he says, as a judge, I announced that there will be a swimsuit competition for the girls. And people are like, can he do that? And he's like, give me your hearts. And, yeah, he's still a giant pervert. So Kashiwagi and Hanako are really serious about winning. The girls are like, we don't have swimsuits. Teddy appears. He has them. He drops them off. I think before this segment, there had been some weird thing where they go get like physical exams, and Teddy had their charts and was checking out
I
their
forgot about
measurements.
that.
So
yeah.
That's fucked.
yeah, so he theoretically knows their exact sizes.
Oh
So-
yeah, I forgot. I did forget to mention that. Like, so Naoto wants everyone to get physicals because Naoto is convinced that maybe the fog has a negative effect on people. It turns out it doesn't, but also that you cannot X-ray Teddy. That Teddy's like body shows up as a weird blob.
Even outside of his Teddy suit.
Yeah.
So they reluctantly agree to participate in the pageant. The first round, Rize's doing a great job, because everyone loves Rize. Chie and Yukiko are just kind of themselves. They're just like, hi, Chie, it's Yukiko. And Naruto just comes out and has just taken his hat off. That's his prep for the
But
thing.
everyone seems super into him. They're like, "What? Wow."
It's made pretty clear throughout the game that all of the girls at school are really into Naruto.
And that is, I forgot the explanation for why Naoto wins.
Yeah. The swimsuit competition. The girls come out in their swimsuits. We've seen them before at the beach. Naoto refuses to come out and apparently just leaves.
So, what do you think of the model for Hanako?
I thought it was fine. Like, I
Yeah,
didn't really
it
have a
wasn't-
problem with it.
I thought they were going to make it grosser, but it was like, no, that's kind of a
Yeah, that's just Hanako's body.
Yep. It was just, and wearing a cute little bikini thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
And
was kind of surprised
very
about
confident.
that.
Yep. But Naoto wins because all of the girls vote for Naoto.
Yeah. Mhm. Even
And-
though Naoto skipped out on the swimsuit.
yes, the women have split the men's vote, but Naoto gets all the girls.
Yeah.
So Hanako and the hot teacher are very upset. They start crying. They
Mhm.
decide to go have a girls' night out.
I do like the sheer volume of Hanako's tears.
Yeah, they're just like Alice flooding the the sea of tears.
Mhm.
She is devastated. She doesn't understand why people don't love curves. She's just a little ahead of her time. Then everyone decides to go to the Amagi Inn, and Nanako's coming too because she can't be left at home alone, I guess. Who knows what Dojima is doing? So yeah, then we have our traditional Persona game inn scene.
Oh boy.
The boys and the girls go to different rooms. The boys are sort of like amazed at how nice their room is at first, and then some creepy sounds start like floating through the air. And I think the phone rings, and they get scared, and they realize maybe this is the room that the reporter stayed in before she was killed.
Mm.
The front desk calls and says, "Oh, you should go down to the springs," and they're like, "Okay." Then we cut to the springs. We get like a steamy slow pan anime cutscene shot of Naoto.
It should have a saxophone accompanying
Yeah,
it.
essentially. It's like, yeah, finally got Naoto out of this uniform. Wham wham. And guess what? Naoto has the largest breasts of all.
Naoto's breasts make the same sound that Teddy does.
Yeah, they're like, boing.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah, which just made me think about how much tape Naoto has to use every day.
Well, binders are a real. I think they use there's a chest binder. It's like a harness.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Naoto is out of the harness. The girls are all immediately just super hot for Naoto. Naoto gets into the water and he's just like sitting there. The girls all come over and are like, "Your skin is soft. Let me touch your hair. Let me look at your ginormous breasts." And then
I mean, this happens in Final Fantasy. Remember that scene I got in Final Fantasy
Yeah.
X too?
yeah.
The same
It's-
thing happens.
Yeah, and friends, women don't do this. Like, I'm sorry to break it to you. to all
Vanessa, we've played 2 JRPGs in a row that prove
Yeah.
you incorrect.
Nope. I mean, like, it's true in passing, you might be like, "Oh, you're looking really good. You've really been working out," or whatever. Or, "I love your hair," or whatever. But it's not like this. It's not creepy. It's not the beginning scene to every heterosexual porn movie ever, where women are just sitting there like, "Oh, you should put on your new lingerie for me and show it to me." No.
I wonder what it would be like if we kissed.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be so weird?
So
JK.
Yeah.
Unless.
then they're also, Nanako's in there. They're playing with her. She says that she's very good. She's good at staying at home alone. She knows not to open the door for strangers. And they're like, "Wow, you're so mature." And she's like, "Yeah, I've been abandoned by my one parental figure. Like, thank God for this guy who's not even my brother. Otherwise, I would be starving."
Jeez.
So then the the guys show up. They just walk through the door. There's this great thing where the girls start throwing buckets at them, and the buckets are just endless.
Mhm.
It's like 100 buckets.
Yeah,
thrown
just
at them.
flowing at them. It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Mhm. And they're like, "You perverts!" But then they do. The boys run away. They make a strategic retreat. They admit that they didn't get to see anything. They're sad about that. And the girls check the schedule and realize that it was the guy's turn to use the baths, but that doesn't mean that they are off the hook. And then there's a scene later where they're like trying to peek in there anyway. Isn't there? Or is that from a different Persona game?
I think that's from a different Persona game.
Sorry.
Well,
Every
they do-
Persona
they do-
game has this thing.
Well, they do try to sneak into the girl's room later after they hear what they think are ghost sounds, but I'm pretty sure is Hanako crying.
Yeah, they get scared.
This part, that's fucking sad, dude.
What do you mean?
She's crying?
Yeah.
That's sad.
Well, she is. It is sad because she lost the Miss.
But they make it into like a joke.
Mhm.
It's not funny.
I do like that they're having a girls' night out, which you find out because the guys are so scared by the sound of a low moaning cry that they run into what they think are the girls' room to stay there, and crawl onto the futons with what turns out to be Hanako and Mrs. Kashiwagi. And
Yeah.
Mrs. Kashiwagi's like, "Oh, I knew that you would get the courage to do this someday." And Hanako's like, "Oh, it's you, Teddy. Hi, Teddy."
Yeah, my boyfriend, who Hanako has before said that Teddy is too immature for her tastes, but
She also
they,
flattened him last time they.
yeah, they do have an established physical relationship.
And she flattened him in the suit, which is pretty kinky.
Yeah. So the guys, Hanako and Mrs. Kashiwagi are receptive to this advance, but the boys decide not to follow through with it because it would be statutorily wrong, I guess.
Do you think that Hanako has a fursuit as well and just thought it was like a YIF thing?
I think she definitely thought it was a YIF thing. I don't think he's a furry herself, but I think she's just very like kink positive and open-minded.
Okay. Would you play a Persona 4 spin-off game that was the adventures of Hanako and Mrs. Kashiwagi?
Absolutely.
Me too. Them solving other murders and adventures and getting their own personas.
Mhm.
I love it.
That would be super cool.
Have we talked about the fact that this inn is like a rent by the hour motel?
No, it's not.
What?
It definitely is.
No,
What
it's
are you
not.
talking
This is like
about?
a super expensive fancy inn.
No, I don't think so. I think that this is a brothel.
You're thinking of the other one.
Nope. I think that this is a brothel.
Nope. All right. So then it's Halloween time, and Yosuke is stuck doing Halloween prep for Juness. He calls you in a panic because no one else is coming to help him set up. So he gets you and Teddy to help. Unfortunately, it was canceled, which you find out only after you've done a super nice display and everyone's happy with Pumpkinhead Teddy. That looks really good.
Yeah, he looks great. They essentially just took his head off and put a pumpkin on instead.
You get home and there's some news about the fog. People are worried about the health effects of the fog. Mr. Kozai, who is a chairman of the Environmental Response Committee, visited the local elementary school. He's on the news and was talking to some kids there. And there was a young student at the elementary school who spoke her own mind, free from influence. And Nanko's like, "Oh, as an unrelated matter, I also talked to him. But
yeah.
I don't feel so good."
I'm sick.
Mhm.
Blah.
Yeah, I felt so bad for Nanako being sick.
Yeah.
So you take care of her, you check her. There's a great animation of him like putting his hand on his head and her head to compare.
Mm-hmm.
And then he puts her to bed, and
Mhm.
Nanako's like, when she's super sick, is like, we're gonna play so much until the spring when you have to go home, right?
Oh, Nanako.
All right.
What? 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4,
I do have
Freddy's coming for you.
I feel like I have an idea that would have made the game better.
Sure.
I think Nanako should have been a party member.
I
Oh,
don't
no.
know. She's a little too young.
I think she could have been a party member, man.
You want to
Age her up
see
a little
Nanako
bit, make
get
her a party member.
hit around by some shadows? That's sick.
What
man.
if there's a Persona 4 too, where now you're adults and can have adult relationships, and Nanako's a part of the team and can help you fight?
A Persona
I
42?
want a game focused on Nanako as an adult exploring the TV world.
I think Nanako should
That's
be
a good
in the
one.
Hanako and Hot Teacher game. She can be a party
Yes.
member with them.
Oh, hey, I like
Yep, me
that.
too.
Jim just recommended Dr. Sleep Persona Edition.
You did, kind of, yeah.
We did. So Kanji's like, hey, since it's raining so much, why don't we check on the Midnight Channel tonight? And you get home, Nanako's there. There's a delivery. She talks to the delivery man. He actually went to it was actually to the neighbor's house. And then she suggests you bring out the kotatsu, which is like, so you put it with those low tables that you sit on the floor, and the kotatsu is like a blanket and a heater that go over the low table and make it into like this super warm thing where you put your legs in. Your legs are warm while you're eating. It's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I
You're not
want
supposed
one.
to fall asleep under one. It's dangerous.
So I didn't So why is that dangerous? Because when they said that, when they saw him under the kotatsu, I was like, oh, that's good. And then when everybody else sees it, they're like, oh no.
I think it's like
But it looked
falling
really
asleep
cozy.
under an electric blanket because of the fire risk.
Yeah, I think the kotatsu is also. I think they burn fuel. So, or is it electric? I don't know.
I'm sure it's probably electric at this point.
I don't know if
In
it's
the
burning.
house.
Yeah, I don't know, but I didn't get.
Yes, it says formerly a charcoal brazier, but now electric, often built into the table itself. That's the heat source.
Well, this one's broken anyway. I haven't got to the cutscene you're talking about there, Jim. So this one's broken, and they have to go to Junes. You promised that you'll go get a nice one. Well, you can either get a cheap or a nice one from Junes. I was like, I'll get you a nice one. And then you go upstairs to look at the Midnight Channel, and there's someone, but it's way blurrier than usual. Teddy watched it on the TV at the store, so he could get a better view than everyone else. And he's like, that person was pretty small. But everyone kind of brushes him off.
Yeah, and as usual, it's just a silhouette of one of the characters who we have seen every day in this game.
It's
Pretty
true.
easy to figure out, but I won't give it away just now.
Wait a
Who
couple.
could it be?
Wait a couple of minutes. So the next night, Dojima brings in another letter with just your name on it, and you open it, and it says, "If you don't stop this time, someone close will be put in and killed." And you're like, ooh. Dojima grabs it from you, says, so I was right. And he asks what your involvement in the case is, and you tell him the truth, and I think you have the option to lie or tell him the truth. Either way, he doesn't believe you.
Yeah.
What happens if you lie? He doesn't believe you.
Yeah, either way, he doesn't believe you.
Yeah, he doesn't believe
and you
you.
don't stick your hand into the TV to prove it.
Well, he takes you to the police station and then takes your phone away. You tell him the whole truth. And he's like, going into a TV, personas, what are you talking about? I'm going to stand here next to this TV and say, there's no
TV.
way for you to prove what you're saying is true.
And I'll never believe it. Good day, sir.
And he's really upset and mad and hurt because he
Yeah.
thinks that you don't trust him.
Mm-hmm.
And Adachi's like, this all sounds pretty crazy, huh? I mean, you can't blame your old man for not buying it.
Yeah, and you're like, get out of here, Dachi, idiot. And he's like, okay, bye.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Yosuke and Teddy are working at Junes. Teddy's doing a poor job and is trying to bring stuff to bring to Nanako. But Yosuke does give Teddy a cheap cell phone, and they are going to call Nanako. Well, first they try to call you. You don't answer. They try to call your house, and Nanako's there, and you talk to him, and she explains that you are missing because Dojima took you to the police station.
Mm-hmm. And they're like, okay, bye.
Mm-hmm. So they'll go check up on Dojima and you.
Yeah.
It's midnight, They look at you look at the TV in the police department.
Mhm.
Oh shit! You know that silhouette anywhere. It's Nanako.
Nanako.
I legit got chills here. Like for any game we've ever played, I've never been as like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill them.
Yeah.
They touched Nanako. I'm going
Yeah.
to destroy them.
Yeah. How dare you? So Naoto, being the only responsible adult among these people, and I include Dojima in that, runs over to Jojima's place.
You do get a little cutscene of a black screen and a voice saying, "Poor thing, I'll put you at ease soon."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great.
The police station gets all in a fury. You learn that Nanako has been kidnapped. Dojima is like out of his mind. John wrote here that he's in berserker mode, which is true. He puts out an APB and people are like, how long has she been missing? And he's like, APB, I'm alert, blah, 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 blah. There's chaos all over. Everyone
Did you
goes...
did you all have that same gut reaction to Nanako being kidnapped? I get very emotionally attached to characters sometimes.
I'm not thrilled with it. What about you, Jim and/or Matt?
You know what? It was Roof. You grow attached to Nanako. She's a sweet kid, but you kind of see it coming, right? Like it was definitely gonna happen. It's kind of crazy because the note says like, "Hey, watch out, or I'm gonna kidnap somebody close to you," and then he's like. Dojima's like, hey, 6-year-old, stay at home alone.
I'm a bad parent.
I take this guy to the police station.
Well, I take my nephew to the police station and interrogate him.
Yeah, for getting a note.
For getting a note. It's fucking wild. Dojima, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Jim, how did you feel about Nanako being kidnapped?
It made me feel bad for Nanako. The thing that made me feel worse was I felt like I had to save her on the first day because the idea of leaving her in there any longer was like, this just feels unnecessarily cruel.
Yeah, take your time.
Like, what are you gonna do? Like, hang out with like while she's like in
I
the
did.
TV world?
I decided to wait for a rainy day and go back in and get a little grinding in on some of the lower levels. So I let her sit in there for about 5 days. And I hung out with Marie, and I hung out with and I hung out and maxed out Yumi and Marie.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt bad about it, but I also was like, this is a video game.
Yeah. So everyone kind of goes to the police station and they just barge into the interrogation room.
That was great.
And I think Adachi is there at this point, and he's like, you can't go in here. What the heck is wrong with you? So they all go in. They try to figure out what happened. There's no forced entry, and they know that Nanako is a good girl who only opens the door for people she knows. And the only person she knows is Dojima and Adachi, because that's Dojima's only friend. And Adachi was at the police station.
Yeah.
Leading up to this, kind of half thought Adachi might be the bad guy.
No.
Really? Why'd you think that?
I feel like Vanessa planted the idea in my head.
I did no such
with
thing.
How much she liked him and like talked about him and like I don't know.
I guess I
feel like she had to cut
history.
She had to cut the relationship short. I think she said because I think she said you can only get him up to some level, and I was like, ooh. I had my eye on. I've had my eye on him this whole time.
I'll admit that I do have a history of falling for the villain in every game that we play.
It's true.
But
Dachi would have been an interesting choice at least, because what we get instead is super fucking boring and like random.
yeah.
Once again, this fails at being a decent Scooby-Doo mystery, you know? It's
Yeah.
just kind of like, anyway, here's the bad guy. It's like the first guy. It's like, here's somebody we talked about once. That's the bad guy. You should have figured it out.
Yeah. Remember this guy from the very beginning? He's back. Although I will say you can kind of run into this guy around town if you just walk around and talk to random people. And sometimes he'll be muttering about saving people and things like that. So they continue to puzzle it out. They're like, oh, he must have been used a big TV. Naoto says, essentially Naoto got himself kidnapped to try to solve the mystery. And he talks about how it was a very short time from the time he was taken to when he was tossed into something. He was counting the seconds or something like that. Someone carried him over his shoulder. So they think the guy must have like a big truck or a van with the TV in it. So he's bringing the TV to the crime scenes. And it can't be an unusual vehicle because nobody reported anything unusual. And
What would
then,
have made sense here is if it was like the news reporter.
oh yeah, that would make sense. But you sort of given an option of like, what kind of car don't people notice? And you can be like, a taxi, a police car.
I guess wrong.
Yeah, I guessed wrong too. I just wanted to frame
said-
a Dachi for everything.
I said police car.
Leave my sweet floppy-haired Tadachi alone. So they finally settle on a delivery truck. Yeah, because we know that Nanako opens the door for deliveries. We've seen her do it.
Yet she did that just today or the day before. No, that
And
day.
Adachi is like, I'm going to go tell Dojima. And they're like, no, we have to go after this guy. And he's like, I'm going to tell Dojima and I'm going to leave through this door. This open door is what I'm going to walk out of. And you will stay here in this room with the open door. And
but
not
before he does
go try
that,
to
he's
save
about to
anyone.
leave, but then they convince him to go look at the case file, and he's the one who comes up with the name.
Oh, yeah. They're like, who's this guy? And he's like, oh, turns out the guy who was like the boyfriend of the murdered singer, he's in town now and he's a delivery truck driver. Okay, bye. Stay here in this room with the open door.
Well, and
Wink.
he also was there around the disappearance of his ex-girlfriend or ex-wife, and was a council member. It seems super suspicious. And Dojima was suspicious about him, but they only looked at where he was the night the body was found and not the night that they went missing.
Oh, clever. So yeah, and then some of your other party members have said things like, oh, someone was at the door and things like that. So it all sort of starts to add up. His name is Taro Namatame. And yeah, everyone heads off to his place. We get a cutscene where Dojima sees his truck and just recklessly chases him down the street. And he's like, Nanako! He's just in full fury mode, and the truck crashes and is overturned.
And Dojima's, you get there because you see the smoke rising in the commercial district, and you get there, and Dojima's outside, injured. And you see right away there's a TV in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand the severity of Dojima's wounds throughout this seems to vary wildly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Like,
doesn't seem
like-
that injured, but he has to be in the
Why he
hospital
doesn't
for a
seem
week.
injured here, but other times, and you'll see it later, they're begging him to go back to his
Yeah.
hospital room. They're like, "You're going to
Yeah.
die if you don't go back to your room."
I assume he has some kind of like punctured lung or something, like something that isn't readily apparent on the outside,
Yeah.
but is very serious.
Yeah.
Or one of those really bad concussions or something.
Yeah. And then, of course, they find the killer secret diary, which every killer has to keep. And it has a list of all the victims and their home addresses, including the ones that were rescued. And not Mr. Maruka, because we know that other guy did that. And he's like, I have to save this little girl. I'm going to save her by chucking her in the TV. So they decide, okay, well, let's all get a good night's sleep, and then we'll go tomorrow.
that is the wildest
Yeah.
thing in this
They're
game
like,
so far.
Well, it's not going to be foggy for a while, probably, so let's just have a nice sleep. And, you know, I don't care how good your weatherman is, fog can happen. So Dojima's taken to the hospital. He's like, you have to save Nanako. And you're like, okie dokie. So you leave him there with Adachi to sit loyally by Dojima's bedside and feed him soup. That is not in the game. That is my headcanon. So then it's time to go to Nanako's palace.
Also, you do promise to rescue.
Of course we do. That goes
Nanako.
without saying.
I will say that most of this, I thought it was written.
Yeah,
really well.
I think that like the scene of Nanako's kidnapping is really tense. I felt more emotionally engaged with this than pretty much any other game we've played.
Yeah, I watched a Let's Play. I wanted to review the cultural festival before the episode, and I thought to myself, like, it's really well directed. Like, you really get a sense of space in all the buildings and stuff, and everything looks like it has depth and the way people move in it. I just like the way this game looks.
It's weird that they had its best section right after its worst section.
I know.
Maybe that's to just get the taste out of your mouth.
Yeah, even though a lot of this, like, it's melodrama, but like it's still very like gripping.
Yeah.
I like it.
So you go to her palace, and it's the saddest palace ever. It
Aw.
is.
Oh man, it's like it's like the stereotypical version of heaven because she wants to be with her mom
Yeah.
who died.
And it's not really like warped because Nanako isn't herself a warped person.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the same issues that the other people we have rescued have because she is prepubescent and doesn't have any sexuality or gender identity. That's a wrong thing to say. Prepubescent certainly can have gender identities. I apologize, but you know what I'm trying to say, I think. John's like, cut that out. Yeah, because many of the dungeons we've dealt with have dealt with issues of being insecure in your sexuality.
But also that she's a child and children kind of don't have a suppressed part of their selves usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just all out there.
Yep.
So you hear her crying, but you also hear another voice. It turns out that Namatame went into the television with Nanako to get away from Dojima.
Mm-hmm.
So you go through heaven. It's very pretty. There are shadows, but other than that, it's just kind of your typical dungeon. Not
Yeah,
much
there's
to
no
talk about.
nonsense, no ID cards, teleporters, or anything.
Oh yeah, I was really worried about that. No going back 3 floors to get the ball that you forgot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So then you finally reach Namatame and Nanako. Namatame has Nanako at knife point,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone's like, okay, just don't do anything. And he's like, I'm saving her. I'm going to save her. I'm saving everyone. Look
This
at
is
this
what saving
beautiful
people
world.
looks like.
Yeah, look at this
Yeah.
beautiful heaven world. And me with my knife. I'm keeping her here in heaven. She's safe. And the TV tells me who to save. And I save them. I throw them in the TV. You try to rationalize with him. It does not work. Kanji and Yosuke just rush him. Namatame turns into his shadow, which is like a savior.
Mm-hmm.
A steampunk savior with like a peace sign and things like that.
And I think Naoto grabs Nanako at this point.
Yeah.
Namatame is the most boring choice for the killer. His whole little gimmick of like, I am crazy and I think I'm saving people, and in reality I am killing people, and I am aware of the fact that that these people are dying. It's just like, it's everything I didn't want out of this. It's just terrible.
Matt, there's 3 months left.
This is the end of the game.
Yeah, this is the last final boss of the game.
Yeah, you'll never find out anything
Yeah.
more about the case.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like, there's
Mystery
gonna be
solved.
is it gonna be something along the lines of, the devil or God or somebody was controlling him or whatever, and now we have to go kill God, like all these
I
games?
assume so. I assume we have to
Nobody
like
knows.
rip out Teddy's heart and then feed it to someone or something.
And I hope so.
Sean.
I can only hope.
So yeah, you beat the guy. You save Nanako, but she is in a coma. Everyone who we've rescued needs time to recover, so it's not that unusual. Although she seems, they theorize, I think, because she's small, that the fog had a stronger effect on her. And Dojima is happy to see her. And the next day, unlike our previous days, the fog does not lift. It just hangs over the town. Something feels wrong in the air, and everyone is very worried. And that's the end of this chunker.
Oh, I forgot to say
You did
that's
it.
that's when Nanako. That's the next day after Nanako wakes up from her coma.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Mhm.
She's sort of awakey, not awakey, like in and out,
Oh,
right?
you're right. She wakes up.
Yeah, she wakes up a little bit, and that's when the fog. But the fog is not leaving.
Yeah. She's like, big
I
bro.
like I legitimately am looking forward to Matthew playing the next month.
Me too.
Like until the next chunker starts, it's gonna be great.
Uh,
But
I'm
I don't know
also
what's
looking
happening
forward to
next
it.
either.
Yeah, because John has never played this far.
Oh,
either.
John's okay. Oh, John, but do you know the twist, John? Have you spoiled it for yourself?
I know. I think I know part of it, but now I don't know. I don't know what the end of the game is. I know a little bit more about the mystery.
I like how we're all on varying levels of this. Matthew knows nothing. John knows some stuff. I just beat the Golden Dungeon for the first time last night, and Vanessa's kind of known all
Mhm.
along. I
I've
love it.
known all along about Delivery Man. So that's why I noticed, I think, when I was walking around talking to him.
Right.
So I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
he's like right here looking at the river.
Mhm.
So next time we're playing until Christmas Eve. That's right, friends. December 24th.
So you said there's some stuff in this chunker that like you have to answer right or it ends the game early.
No, that's at the that's the
yeah,
next
the
chunker.
upcoming. I think that's what John meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant this
Yeah.
one.
On December 2nd, you want to be really careful and make sure that you either use a guide or save right beforehand if you want to try to do it yourself. But there'll be a series of dialogue options, and you have to kind of ace them in order to proceed in the game, or you get the bad ending.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's a prompt before that happens where the game is like, "Hey, there's some serious shit about to go down. Do you want to save? Save."
So I legit
Because it's
know
very
what
easy.
happens
It's
next.
very easy to get this wrong.
Like-
it's very easy to get this
I am
wrong.
So-
very excited to see what's going to happen.
Where are we playing to next time?
December 24th, Christmas Eve.
Okay. Christmas Eve.
Do you want to go through like a social link real fast?
Yeah.
I want to. Me.
Okay, first, Vanessa.
I want to talk about Naoto.
I didn't have enough courage to ask him out when you could, so I don't know
It's
anything.
not even. There's also like once you do have enough courage, there's something else you have to do to trigger it. You can't just walk up to it.
Ah.
You have to talk to somebody first.
Boo.
Yeah. You have to.
Because there's some like person that's dressed in a black suit. I think you have to talk to first.
You hear about black suit guy hanging around the shopping district. You talk to him. If you have a 5 intelligence, he'll give you a blank card to give to Naoto, and he'll be like, Naoto will know what to do with this. So then you go to Naoto. You have to have high courage to even talk to Naoto because Naoto's a very intimidating hat boy. But if you do, then you launch into this whole mystery where first Naoto looks at the blank card and is like, I don't know what this is. It's probably some weird prank. Like, screw this card. Then shortly thereafter, Naoto's home is broken into. He lives with his grandfather, and a bunch of his personal things have been stolen. And he's like, okay, that's weird. You get another card, and it ends up being a clue that kind of leads you to a location where you find one of Naoto's stolen things. So you continue to find the stolen objects, and they're things from his childhood when he was dreaming of being a big boy detective instead of a little boy detective. And it has things like a detective badge and a little notebook and like a spy watch that he made. He made all of this like spy gear and things like that.
That's super
Yeah.
sweet.
So you continue to follow them. Eventually, Naoto solves the mystery. Put on your earmuffs if you don't want to know that it was his grandfather all along hiding the things, trying to get Naoto to remember why he wanted to be a detective in the first place. My cohorts are putting their earmuffs back on. I did decide to enter into an intimate relationship with Naoto.
Wow.
I wish I would have done that.
I feel kind of bad about doing it.
Why?
Because the game is not great with how it handles it. It does okay, but eventually Naoto does tell you when you're like in your room with him, "You make me happy, I'm a woman," which I have chosen to interpret
Whoa.
as, "You make me happy that I have not had genital reassignment surgery, so we can get it on in that manner."
Gender reassignment. Come
Sorry.
on.
Gender reassignment surgery. Well, I don't know. I mean, whatever. So, he hasn't had bottom surgery. Is that something people say?
Yes.
Mhm.
So that made me feel like kind of weird. And I think that the game definitely wants you to ship Naoto and Kanji. They have a dual attack together called Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, it's fun.
Yep. So
A big old skeleton come out of the ground and snatch up all the monsters.
yeah.
That is super cool.
So I felt like the game was sort of like, "Are you sure, Naoto? You wanted to date Hat Boy with the hat? Okay, here you go." So it wasn't that satisfying, but I also felt like Naoto is the only person who is at all dateable out of all of these children because he's the most like an adult.
Is he the only one that's not is he not having a fuck? Is he not going through like a traumatic event right now? Because every single one of these scenarios is you get close to some girl who's going through a traumatic series of things right now, and then
yeah, totally.
once she gets through it all, you're like, also, it's fuck.
And like not only in like the thing that I think the way that the game is built almost makes it worse because you just wander into this person's life at the most random moments and like creep on them. It's very weird.
Yeah, in fact, I'll go next if nobody else is. I finished up Yumi's Social Link. I talked about it a little bit before, so a brief catch up. Yumi is your drama club friend. And Yumi doesn't show up for class, and you make the very unmat-like decision to follow her to the hospital, where you find out that her father is dying. Now, her father abandoned her and her mother for another woman years ago, a younger woman. And so Yumi is very bitter, and that's why she wants to be an actress, to, like, cover up her, so that she can pretend to be somebody else, because she, I guess, hates herself. It's great. Real good. Yumi, struggles with taking care of her father. Her mother gets ill trying to take care of the house and work and take care of the father in the hospital. So Yumi takes over and starts taking care of her father and does manage to grow close to him, even though she's still very angry at him. And eventually he dies. So, and you're there to comfort her. And at that point, the game lets you be like, do you want to move a little closer to her? And I was like, no! What is fucking wrong with you? What is wrong with this game? Hey, I know you're going through this traumatic event. Do you want to kiss?
You know who does decide to kiss her?
Hold on. That's not what happens. She professes her love to you in the drama room, and she says,
"No, that's the final stage of the social length. That is to get from 9 to 10. I think to get from 7 to 8, you have the choice with all of these girls. It's always the choice to move closer to them somehow, and that's how you like initiate the intimate relationship. But Yumi weirdly does have in stage 10 what seemed to me to be like a second chance, where she's like, "I'm in love with you, and I'm gonna close my eyes, and either you're gonna be here or not." And I slunk out of the room.
I see in the context it feels like she just because the options are walk out of the room and give her a hug, and I was gonna be like, I don't want to date you, but like I want to give you a hug so that you'll feel better and not just like abandon you in this dark empty room.
No, I played it today. That's not what happened at all. You're a liar.
Like I hugged her, and the game was like, You comforted Yumi. You're now in an intimate relationship. And I was like, shit.
Yeah, but like knowing what we know about Jim, that seems pretty true to life.
Well, anyway, that's Yumi. sneaky backdoor love interest, I think. Maybe.
Oh.
I mean, I could be totally wrong about that, but let's just pretend like I got it right.
Everyone's trying different positions and stuff. And,
Naoto is my secret sneaky backdoor love interest. I can't even say
So
it.
I did tell Yumi no.
John,
I did tell
dropping the anal jokes.
I did tell Rize yes, and I did move closer to her, but we'll talk about that next time. Who wants to go next?
I do.
John.
So I finished Saoko Uehara, the nurse, the devil social link.
Ooh, I've never heard about this one.
Are you in the intimate relationship with her now?
No, I don't think that's actually an option.
You can't date her?
Yeah.
Her
That's weird.
the first few times you see her, she is straight up like, "What's up, little boy? Wanna fuck?"
Yeah, she's
Like, it's wild,
like,
but great, and it lets you answer like, "Yup."
But she doesn't
I
actually
did.
like it when you answer that way.
Yeah,
She's
she
like,
doesn't-
You're no fun.
Yeah.
she's just doing it to like, because she needs some kind of power, and it's kind of a screwed up plot line, but basically,
Oh, they all are.
yeah, she was having an affair with a doctor. He called it off when the wife found out. The wife goes to visit her at this from the old hospital. The wife of that doctor comes to visit this hospital, and then like chews her out in front of everyone else, and everyone's like calling
Well,
her
the
a
doctor's
slut.
the doctor is having an affair again, and the wife, I guess, assumes that it's what's her
Yeah,
name?
and the doctor's also hitting on her as well, Sayoko. And so what happens is that she feels like she feels very guilty about leaving the other hospital because she cheated on that or had sex with that doctor when he was in a relationship, and a young patient who she used to have at the old hospital dies. So she's like, well, if I hadn't had that affair, I could have been there to help the kid. And then plunges into super depression and is a workaholic and isn't taking any time to rest, collapses, and you talk to her and you're like, hey, look, I care about you. You're kind of messed up and you're working through some stuff, but I care about you. And she's like, well, I appreciate that. And she realizes, hey, I can't let this guy being a piece of garbage to me stop me from doing what I want to do. So she's going to go back to the other job. Or find another place to work that job, because that's what she really wanted to take care of kids and work there and not be a nurse at this random hospital. And so that's what she goes off to do. And I thought it was like the hitting on a teenager part isn't good, but the rest of it is an interesting, more adult storyline that I think if you had been a grown up in this game would have been really good.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's that.
I'll go next. I would like to talk about Mr. Riotaro Dojima.
Oh
Dojima!
boy.
Yeah, so he's kind of the gruff uncle character.
Grunkle.
And then what?
Grunkle.
Funkle. Yeah. But as you spend time with them, you learn that he's not really around, and he never spends time with Nanako. And Nanako seems somewhat used to it, though there is like some friction between them. But you come to learn that he spends all of his free time trying to find the person who killed his wife, who killed him in what I believe is a hit and run. And so he's like consumed with that, and that he kind of uses that as an excuse to ignore Nanako. And your character helps him realize that that's what he's doing, and that his kind of obsessive search for this is taking away all of this time he could be spending with Nanako, even though, he says that Nanako reminds him of his late wife. But you help him work through that, and he makes you an honorary part of the family by giving you his wife's old coffee mug. They all have like Dojima and Nanako both have coffee mugs with their names written on them that they wrote themselves, and he gives you your own mug to write your own name on, which was also his deceased wife's
So
mug.
do you like cross her name out?
I
I
don't
think
know.
it
I think
doesn't
maybe
have
just
her
like
name on it. But
I don't think that one she hadn't written her name yet. But yeah, you get the coffee mug, and he makes you an honorary part of the
yeah,
family.
we haven't mentioned how Nanako's drinking coffee all the time.
Yeah, she's always got some coffee.
And Dojima's like, the only thing I can really make is coffee. So that's what Nanako eats.
Oh, remember how you could make coffee in Persona 5? That's such a good game.
Hey, by the way, I meant to mention this earlier, but of all the ways you guys can spend time, do you guys go to the coffee shop in in the city at all?
Yeah, all you can do. Oh, does it give you like cards, which I've literally never used.
Well, I think what you do is you equip a persona that has like a card slot, and if you choose to spend time there, it will give you a skill card for that persona.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. I didn't even know about it until my second playthrough.
So should we talk about what we are squarely against?
Sure.
We've been recording for 2 hours. Let's get through this shit.
Dun, dun.
Jim. Hey, Jim. Why don't you start us off and tell us what you're squarely against?
Hey, I'm roundly for the music in Nanako's Heaven Dungeon. It's like super relaxing and also has a nice beat to it. It's just flat out good video game music.
I can't help myself with these memories.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
a good
need to
song.
feel some cheese.
John, what are you squarely against?
The pageant. The pageant, real bad. I've said enough.
This whole episode, we should title this episode "John is squarely against."
But I'm roundly for the Nanako stuff. I thought that was so well done.
It was
But
well done.
that pageant, makes me dislike this game that I love. Why would they do that? Why would they think I would agree with that? Why did they think this was fun? Like people say, oh, it's just, the view of trans people in Japan. But it's like trans people in Japan right now are protesting for rights. Like it's not like there aren't trans people in Japan or queer people in Japan in general. And yeah. Anyway, what about Vanessa?
Yeah, same as John. It's no good. It's very bad. I do still love this game. After having essentially finished Persona 5 Royale, I'm not sure it's my favorite Persona game anymore. Royale brings a lot to the table, but it's still a very, very good game with some very, very bad parts. And the pageant is one of them. But I am roundly for the Super Rock Band sing-along. And I'm roundly
Hey,
for...
why are you going to be taking people's roundly fours?
Sorry. The high-speed truck chase with Dojima freaking out.
It's a good one.
Matt, you roundly for that rock band?
I was roundly for the concert scene. It was super fun. I like a concert. The end.
No emails this week, but as part of our Patreon benefits, we will read aloud the name of every single patron that we have.
Jim, we got to plug
because
the
we
Patreon
love
first.
our patrons.
We can't just jump
What?
right to the names.
All right. Well, we have I thought we did the Patreon plug at the top of the
Not
episode.
really.
We did not.
We just plugged the vote.
Oh. All right.
All right, for $3 a month, you have access to every single one of our bonus episodes, and a new one will be coming out in a couple of days on Disco Elysium. At least 2 people on the show have finished it. Also, special guest Dr. Stephen Stone will be on that episode.
Woohoo!
And for $5 a month, you can vote. And right now, we have a vote for you to vote on. You're voting for our next game, and that's what this vote is. And yeah. So we get votes out a couple of times a year. We're thinking about increasing it to more, but we'll settle on a number soon. We're still thinking about it. But at least 2, probably more.
John, if I wanted to become a patron, where would I do that?
Nope. Patreon.com/Square Roots Podcast.
Square Roots Podcast.
Yeah,
there it is. All right, so as part of our weekly ritual / Patreon promise of reading the names of all of our patrons on air, I will start with John DeBellis, Dan, Enter Stanman, Benjamin Sayers, Soy Soda Pop, Play Mother 3 or Quit Now Frauds, David Pascal, Hales, Andrew O, David Shook, Tracy, William Westgard, Zachary Fire Ant Harbison, Andy Cressette, Wedge Coon, Ethan G. Pearson, Ben Davis, Mostly Rational Person, Chief Hazard Built, Vanessa's Scruffy Distant Police Dad, Mitchell Jarman, Ryan Miller, Christopher Highness, The pen was mighty indeed. Saving Sid, Jordan McNeil, Chris Wilder, Kevin Mosser, Sean Still Just Co., Vanessa's Gold Taco Bell PS4, Wonder Swan, Grayson, Vanessa will fail to pronounce Beaglesaurus, I heard it from, L'Oreal of the Claire, Ari Capivara, Anthony Gonzaba, and Andrew Leinart. There's a lot of Vanessa references.
Yeah, I
in these
like
names.
it because I like things that are all about me.
We would also like to thank Robert J. Defendi, Andre Rivera, Mr. Mallard. You make Sulk sad. Sexy Grandma's boy toy is Stephen Pageant. Jonathan Smith, Grey Code, Isaac Wright, Justin Rash, Captain Awesome, Matthew Newland, Alexander Jokic, Teddy is a little creep. Seltzer is the best drink. Is it? Joshua Bennett, Hexagon, Armin Hammer, Hudson Roth, Andy Smith, Every Day's Great at Your Square Roots, Amanda Douglas, Christian Go, Sergeant Spaghetti, Chris Ryan, Kevin Walter, Matthew Casterline, Adam Zimmerman, Shining Hopper, That One Guy, Paul Bursch, Toxic Jock Syndrome,
Wow.
Alex Bear Pun Doulard, Cake Ninja, Joseph, Reddit is Harold Lauder, Wash in the Wind, Andy M., Nawford, and George Brady.
It's my turn. Michael Crawford, Vanessa's fourth mom, Jameson. Oh my god, what is this game? Mary, Queen of Scoffs, DJ Ethro, Ron, Sean Gonzalez, Jared Collins, Dr. Fine, say everyone's name, to Bumpkins. Boy, that hat, boy, the boy with the hat has a half brim, huh? Andy Best, G. Bailey, Citrusy, Gage La Charité, Chris Penyak, PJ Enns, Huxley Iguana, Benjamin Avna, Galendo, Sean Walsh, Brady A. Berman, Florian Jonas Kramer, Bobby Midkiff 2 Golden, Eric Garby, Eunice's mom, Kedekai, as God made her, James Hostetler.
Jake Dickerson, David Green, Ashley T, Chie, Nathan Poirot, Randy Pierce, Teddy is a persona non grata, Jonathan Ellsworth, Patrick Woves Bears, Sammy Mitchell, Sam Harrison, Aaron Bachman, Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021, I don't know about that, Robert M. Pullum, Miguel Torres, Tracy Tanoff, Race Jenkins, Cameron Shoei, Cyril the Wolf, Robert T., Tom, Ross Hartley, Tyler Petty, Justin Ham, Bree Girth, Devin Sloan, Teddy is a garbage monster, Only Good for Nightmares, Brian Pitt, Ward Childress, Matt Jorgensen, Vanessa's Real Mom, Beep Boop Hatbot 2000, and Stu Skill.
All right, everybody, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to send us an email that we can address on air, you can reach us at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. You can join our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people, which is actually what it's called. Or you can tweet at us. We are at Square Roots Pod.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks to GillStudio for letting us use their cover of Time to Make History. Links to their Spotify and YouTube are in the show notes.
All right, everyone. For Square Roots, I'm Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa.
Go vote.
Give me your hearts.
Bye.
It's a war out there every day.